The future of sex is a strange and paradigm-shifting apparition, and companies will race to create the most tempting and tantalizing experiences to sell as products. Manufacturing fascination. This is a lullaby of corporate temptation. I mentioned a concept called virtualization in my previous video, where it is cheap and easy for companies to sell virtualized versions of real experiences. To do this, they develop a technology which attempts to replace something real. Social media tries to centralize and monetize conversations by making them abstract and footloose, moving them out of geography into the ether, making conversations virtualized. But, ironically enough, people are spending less time together in person. Anti-social media. On the other hand, Tinder and apps like that, they try to centralize and sell dating and, the phenomenon of meeting people of your preferred gender. Yet, with the onset of the anti-social media age, our societies have millions of lonely people. Companies see that as a gap in the market. And like with any groundbreaking technology, various forms of synthetic love will change human psychology, and we will have to adapt. Watch this video to be ahead of the curve and understand what the future of relationships may look like, in order from the least horrifying to the most. Vamos a ello. Training wheels. Many find the process of seeking a relationship uncomfortable. Romance requires taking risks, and you might be haunted by ghosts of mistakes made in the past.
How about we dim the lights and see where the night takes us?
AI girlfriends are already providing companionship to hundreds of thousands, millions even, especially concentrated amongst the young. Half of US teenagers have used a digital companion, but texting only gets you so far, and I predict that this will not be a solution. They will want to date real humans, so perhaps the role of AI companions amongst the young will not be a lifelong relationship, but something more educational. This is a game called Angry Girlfriend, where you can practice with an AI negotiating arguments with women. It is not perfect, it's quite stereotypical, but some kind of advanced version of this might be designed. And perhaps it's already happening. Guys, practicing talking to girls doesn't seem too bad really, does it? Learning those skills which they need to understand the other gender. In the future, AI will be used as training wheels, stabilizers, as we call them in England. Stabilizers of mental health too. Someone who is always there for you and without expectation of reciprocity. But it is not a relationship for that reason. Because the AI truly does not want anything from you, it does not even really want you to be better, at least not out of love, out of programming, but maybe a tool like this, which teaches young people something useful to the experience of being in a relationship from the safety of your bedroom, well, maybe it can lead to stronger human connections, or something positive for a young teenager perhaps, whose parents are divorcing, they have no friends, well, they can have a virtual partner.
Tell me how you feel.
And that will bring its own psychological challenges. A virtual breakup as the person realizes they are only speaking to predictable code. I think in these kinds of potentially life-saving situations, we must tread gently with shattering these people's lifelines and try not to judge them too much unless they fail to grow out of it. Robot polygamy. If we end up with VR and sex robots that can provide a satisfying sexual experience, isn't that easier than taking the risk of talking to girls? Well, given the role of porn in our society, it seems inevitable that in just a couple of years, there will be fully immersive VR experiences and realistic robot partners. And if you're rich, you can buy multiple partners and have them with different personalities, different physical features, different patterns of behavior, especially if you do not have the ability to even conceptualize partnership with another human. It will feel like winning. It will feel like adoration and infinite sexual freedom. Polygamy in the past looks like Genghis Khan. In the present, it looks like Andrew Tate. And in the future, it may well look like this. Well, Genghis Khan got his harem by means of a brutal army, and you will get yours by means of credit card and a Wi-Fi connection. Well, it may well look like this, or like this, but Is this companionship? Can it ever be companionship? Will this be the way that people realize en masse that the kinds of fantasies that the adult industry tries to sell you via virtualization, by the way, of another kind, well, those fantasies are not really a recipe for genuine satisfaction and can harm you quite a bit. A lot more than most people want to admit, I think. But perhaps these are lessons that we all need to learn somehow. I am concerned for people who lie to themselves that the simulation of an experience is equivalent to reality. Truthfully, the simulation is a distinct experience. It is not the real experience, at least as long as you know that it is a simulation. But there are always, and already, solipsists of this kind. And I predict that some people will lie to themselves that their ability to pay for a harem of robots means that they are basically just Genghis Khan. Non-human and simulacrums. Let's think a bit more about the future development of these robot lovers. This is my artistic impression. So, these robots will be modular. That is, you will be able to take them apart and put them back together in strange ways. A while ago, I ran into an online community who is very, very into this. And besides some erotic art, this feels like a very dark desire. The fetish of the disassembled. It feels like BDSM, but like an order of magnitude more extreme. It's like abstract BDSM, where killing the person is not a concern. The robot is your property, basically a sex slave, and you can do whatever you want with your property. Remove the head, replace limbs, even create new limbs, body parts that currently do not exist. Dildos for arms, an artificial vagina that moves and does things no human could ever do. It is Frankenstein made silicone. But it gets more bizarre. You will be able to get a robot partner in the shape of a furry, of a horse, or of a teddy bear, or of something which does not exist in the real world. And this is where facsimile, which is a copy of something real, turns into simulacrum, something which was never real in the first place. Made manifest, made flesh, made in China or wherever. However, do you think it is a good thing or a bad thing that for someone who might otherwise commit a crime like bestiality, there will be a robot version of what they're into? How will different countries approach this? And where is the line? If you can be into teens, can you go younger? In this brave new world which will force us to ask such uncomfortable questions, a strange new world which will be built by economic forces of incentive and technology, which have no moral compass besides what someone is willing to do to make a profit. I predict that this issue will be in the headlines by 2027, or perhaps before. Robot thruples. What about people who have a human relationship? Some will certainly be curious to include a robot in their bedroom life. Will the internet soon be full of robot threesomes where a man and a woman and a machine converge, convulse, and convene? Will miserable husbands and wives run away with the robot? Well, it seems to me that anything which is possible to happen will happen, with only enough time. One person will have a relationship with two robots, while a human couple will start a relationship with one robot, or a robot polycule. As the technologies of AI, robotics, and virtual reality get cheaper and more accepted and more widespread, and there are high-profile cases involving celebrities, who will be the first celebrity to date a robot? What do you think? And, well, as the technology becomes more common, people all over the world will become implicated in the new questions. It forces them to be posited, and people all over the world will be asking, is it cheating if the experience was technically just lines of code, but the person saw it, heard it, felt it, but no other human was involved? Every couple will surely have to negotiate for themselves where their boundaries are. And listen, negotiation is key to this, because navigating relationships goes beyond following rules. The relationship is an ever-shifting covenant to share in the sensations and adventures of life. Some people will be curious and comfortable with the new technology, and others will not. There will be some arguments, I am sure, around the world, but people have one of two extreme views, either sex and love are the same or they are entirely different. And I think that most people can realize now that I'm saying it that the reality is a bit of both. It's somewhere in the middle. And people in their personal lives will have to, and will be able to, work it out. That is the purpose of culture. Love is the root, and trust is the map. Digital ghosts. The first Neuralink was created for medical reasons, to restore sight to the blind, and so forth and so on, as well as for the critical medicinal enterprise of allowing monkeys to play Doom with their minds. And perhaps one of the more accepted uses of AI, VR, or robotic partners will be the resurrection of a dead widow's husband and the widower's dead wife. 10,000 tweets and Facebook posts, a lifetime of Google search history, webcam footage, along with custom controls, and you can bring your ex back into your life. At least the virtualization of your ex, a facsimile. A digital ghost. Is it necromancy or necrophilia? I'm not really sure. Customizable and reskinnable to make them 30 years younger again. And you can pretend even that you're dating Elvis or Cleopatra. A perfect blend of your favorite parts of your exes, perhaps. Or, I don't know, someone who rejected you in real life. They rejected you, or they broke up with you, or maybe you never even picked up the courage to talk to them. But it's okay. You can always pretend. Pretend. That's right. Shh. Let the technology lull you like a sinister sedative or a mystical trance. The high bandwidths of the hypnotist bandits, let them lull you into your infinite dreams and desires, those which you always thought were your own. But that data belongs to the machine now, and you're a better customer when you just shh. Forget about what it is. Just think about how it feels and just sleep. Sleep.